During March, violent protests broke out against the regime of Bashar al-Assad. We'd already booked our rail tickets, and it would take us 6 days to get to the Syrian border, where we would decide whether it was safe to go on.
We left London on Eurostar, spending a day in Paris at the Musée d'Orsay, before taking the night train to Munich. Although our train broke down en route, we managed to reach Vienna in time for a late lunch, and we delivered a £4,000 Jugendstil vase to Rudi Schmutz. From there, it was an overnight train to Bucharest, where we had a night at the opera. Then onward through Bulgaria and a long crossing of the Turkish border. After a day in Istanbul, we took a night and a day crossing Turkey to Adana, near the Syrian border. All was peaceful, so we continued on by bus to Aleppo.
Just leaving Paris on the train to Munich, and we'll go overnight, and tomorrow morning we'll take the train from Munich to Vienna, where we hope to deliver the amazing vase to Rudi Schmutz. Today we had a lovely day at the Musée d'Orsay in Paris, tramped around until we were thoroughly footsore. And so it's the start of a 1-month excursion by train all the way to Syria, coming back by boat to Venice, and then back by train to Blighty. Here's hoping it goes well. Well, we've got a 2-hour wait in Munich, and Judith is guarding Rudi's vase very carefully. We had to keep asking Rudi to delay the lunch booking. En route, our train broke down and we had to change to another one. It was tea time when we got to Vienna.
And Hansen, a big man, he sat on one of the chair and whoosh, 150 years old, how do you call this, yes? Fiber, yeah? No, it's interwoven. Interwoven, it's, yeah. I have such a chair. But I'm glad that Chuck is in such a good shape. Must be your benefit.
That's right.
It's very much depends on the wife. I had a lot of problems with my worries with my ladies.
Remember, you're on camera. This is being recorded. Be careful.
It can be taken, can be held against me. But it's true.
debris everywhere. I've just peed in the Danube because it's one of those don't use while the train is parked in the station rules. I'm somewhere in deepest Bulgaria, on our way to the border with Turkey. Sometime tonight we'll cross that at 2 in the morning or so, and we'll have to get out of our bed and clamber into a bus and go across a bridge and get out again and board another train, which will take us to Turkey. And I'm reading through our stack of New Yorkers. We brought about 8 of them with us. And so far I've got to, let's see, February the 7th issue. So we've got a lot more to go.
About last night.
What happened last night?
A long, slow entry into Turkey and onto this train.
Right. catch the onward train, we had to cross the Bosporus from Europe to Asia.
Another fine mess with some beautiful mackerel.
Chai, su Nescafé.
With snow.
The train that used to run once a week from Adana across the border to Aleppo is no more, so we had to finish the journey by bus.
Is Bashar al-Assad really in control? He is accused of being either a dictator or a puppet. In the days of the Mamelukes and the Ottomans, commerce furnished Aleppo with its grandest architecture.
Okay, thank you. I'm in the Hotel Mandaloun in Aleppo, otherwise known as Aleppo, in Syria, but where it seems about as far from a political demonstration as you could get.
Voller Hakis.
The souk grew around khans like this, originally courtyard inns where merchants stayed upstairs and stored their goods underneath. Each was devoted to particular goods. There are 6,000 shops in the Aleppo souk, connected by 12 kilometers of narrow alleys, unchanged since the 16th century. Some of it goes back to the 13th century. Camel is on the menu tonight.
وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له هو الأول والآخر والظاهر والباطن ما عاد يبتعد الإنسان بهذه الآية.
Delicious. A day trip takes you to the monastery of San Simeon.
In the 5th century, Saint Simeon found monastic life insufficiently ascetic, so he chained himself to the top of a pillar that was 18 meters high. This is what's left of it. Throughout the Byzantine era, pilgrims continued to visit the site of Saint Simeon, and Deir Saman grew up to accommodate them. It's one of 800 forgotten cities, abandoned 10 centuries ago in the hills around Aleppo. Ain Dara is much older. It's a Hittite temple dedicated to the goddess Ishtar, built 1,000 years before Christ and destroyed 2 centuries later. The footprints, they say, belong to the god Hadad. Lions are typical of Hittite temples.
His fangs, his tongue.
She's not wearing a veil because this is a Kurdish village. The citadel in Aleppo was erected in the 12th century during the reign of the son of Saladin as an impregnable base against the Crusaders. It was damaged by the Mongols in the 15th century and repaired by the Mamelukes in the 16th with this characteristic black and beige pattern. Intertwined serpent dragons aim to frighten the enemy at the gate. During the French Mandate, it was used as a prison. Although it was Friday, all was quiet at the mosque.
See dirty bits and handsome bits.
I love London and Paris.
You've been? Yes.
The attraction here is the head of Zachariah, father of John the Baptist. Aleppo is famous for its green soap made with laurel and olive oil. It's only made in the winter because it's too hot to set in the summer.
But here what we use to make this soap is second. Pure soap, Juwaili, Halab.
Right, so that's the pure soap, and
Pure
that's
soap,
Juwaili is the name of the
Juwaili,
factory.
that's right,
And
Halab.
part for. What happens during that 2 years that makes the difference?
It's oxidized.
It's oxidized.
Yeah.
They oxidize inside.
That's right, that's
Very
right. It starts,
slowly.
yeah, it starts from the outside. Pure.
This mental hospital was founded by the Mamelukes in the 14th century. Patients were segregated according to the severity of their illness and moved to different rooms as they progressed towards recovery. The aim was the total rehabilitation of patients into the community. When you go to tea at the Hotel Baron, the decades roll back.
British to the core maybe, but still no milk with the tea.
Teddy Roosevelt and T.E. Lawrence stayed here, and this is where Agatha Christie wrote Murder on the Orient Express. We heard there was trouble in the south of the country. Some children had painted anti-government slogans on walls. They'd been arrested and tortured. There were uprisings too in Latakia on the coast, where we had planned to stay overnight. We changed our plans. We visited several more forgotten cities before crossing the fertile valley known as Al-Ghab and over the mountains to Saladin's castle. Segila has been deserted for 15 centuries, yet it's one of the most complete of the forgotten cities. The Andron was a meeting room for the men of the city. These are the baths. Nobody knows why these cities died, though it could have been because trade routes were diverted. Al-Bara was a flourishing center for wine and olive oil. These pyramid tombs were evidence of the wealth of the city. There remain the ruins of 3 monasteries and 5 churches. I suggest we make a run for Saladin's castle. This is Al-Ghab, the fertile breadbasket of Syria, viewed from the mountains. Qalat Salah ad-Din. The original Byzantine fortress was taken over and strengthened by the Crusaders in 1108. The castle was recaptured 70 years later by Saladin, the Muslim warrior who unified the Levant and drove the Crusaders out of Jerusalem. The dressed stone identifies the Crusaders' additions to the original Byzantine fortress. This is where the drawbridge was, over this very, very deep gully.
Castle.
We drove back over the mountains and across the fertile valley of Al-Ghab to the Roman city of Apamea.
These chariot ruts were laid down 2 millennia ago. The large trading center of Apamea was founded in the 3rd century BC by a general in the army of Alexander the Great, who named it after his wife. It was seized by Pompey for the Romans in 64 BC and visited by Mark Antony and Cleopatra. These pipes are the remains of the Roman sewage system. These were the baths.
this looks like a foot and another foot and possibly vine. Bunch of grapes.
Judith has found another Cosmo and Damien church.
Artifact. That looks like the back of the church. Wider, then it seems to narrow here. And it's round, so that must be the apse at that end, the east end. I wonder how they knew that it was dedicated to Cosmo and Damien.
They read the guidebook, darling. Nearby is a restored Ottoman khan, now a museum of Roman antiquities. The caravanserai dates from the 18th century and was used as a trading post on the route from Mecca to Constantinople.
There we went.
From Apamea, we made our way towards the city of Hama.
In Hama in 1982, the father of Bashar al-Assad suppressed a revolt by students and the Muslim Brotherhood. In a 3-week battle he used tanks and heavy artillery to flatten whole districts of the city. 20,000 people were massacred.
There isn't quite at the moment. The wheel goes round this way, driven by the pressure of the water, the stream against these paddles, and the water is picked up in these boxes here, and then when it gets to the top up there, is decanted into the aqueduct. This here provides the chute for the water to go into the aqueduct.
Doesn't look terribly efficient, does it?
I would have thought that as it goes up, that you would lose quite a lot of water from these open boxes. Here's to the dear leader.
The center of the city was restored, but there aren't many tourists about.
From Hama we drove south past the city of Homs, which soon after became a centre of rebellion. We visited various Christian sites before staying overnight in the monastery of Ma Mousa in the desert. We then went on to Damascus.
All over Syria there are half-finished blocks like this. It looks as though a property bubble has burst. Saint Thecla, a follower of St. Paul, lived in a cave here as a virgin ascetic. A young pagan tried to rape her, but a defile opened up and allowed her to escape. Judith is escaping down it now.
Okay, start walking.
Κατά των τιούτων και στην νόμος, είδε του Χριστού την σάρκα εσταύρωσα, συν της πατήμας.
This is her church.
Ίζομεν
And this is her cave.
Εάν και προληφθεί άνθρωπος εν την υπαραπτώματι, ημείς οι πνευματικοί καταρτίζεται τούτο εν πνεύματι πραότητος, σκοπών σε αυτόν.
Off to Jerusalem, the convent of Our Lady of Sednaya is the second holiest pilgrimage site for Greek Orthodox Christians. Restored by the charismatic Father Paolo, the monastery at Ma Mousa is home to a handful of monks, a nun or two, and a floating population of visitors.
Yes, way round, that's right.
Yes, I mean, in the Gulf, it can easily, I think maybe it already is, higher jobs, you'll find more women than men.
They would have to live somewhere else, probably.
Yeah, or they're secular or Christian or whatever.
Keep secure some of these very big, powerful.
Orthodox Christianity, is it?
This is my room. Window here, 2 windows there, and also a window looking that way.
Men and women are put up in separate dormitories, but we were lucky. We had 2 single rooms. Okay.
Oh, from London.
But we had only allowed ourselves one night